Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve,
And I am Scott.
and together we're Backyard Musings Science and Technology Channel.
Yep, and we're talking about space today. Rockets in space and NASA, some of our best topics that we talk about. We love space, we love health. Here we go.
And you probably saw the post we made yesterday about do you think NASA should be going back to the moon? Look at that post and tell us and put it in the comments if you think so. Okay, here
Yeah,
we
and
go.
you can still see the nanites. That post, you can still go on there too.
Yeah, you can comment on that too. Okay, NASA's Artemis II mission is rolling toward the launch pad, marking a major step toward humanity's next journey around the moon. NASA is entering a crucial phase on the road to its Artemis II test flight. In the coming days, the agency plans to move its SLS, that's the Space Launch System rocket, and Orion spacecraft to the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center in Florida for the first time. This rollout will mark the start of final integration work, system testing, and launch rehearsals ahead of the mission. Would you like to know more?
I'd love to go there one day, by the way. I'd love to go check that out.
Yeah, but sometimes they delay the launch, so they might delay it for a week or two or a couple days. So you'd be hanging out for a while.
Yep. Okay, so NASA is aiming to begin the move no earlier than Saturday, January 17th, which is today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. The journey from the vehicle assembly building to launch pad 39B spans about 4 miles and will be carried out by the crawler transporter 2. The process expected to take as long as 12 hours. Yeah, it moves really slow. It's kind of Star Wars-y looking, actually, when they do that. I remember when they used to bring the Saturn rockets out on that before the Apollo missions. Teams are working continuously to complete remaining tasks before rollout, though the date could shift if additional technical work or weather conditions require more time.
As is typical with complex new systems, engineers have spent recent weeks addressing a number of technical issues. During final inspections, technicians discovered that the cable used in the flight termination system did not meet specifications due to a bend. The cable is now being replaced with testing planned over the weekend.
Engineers also identified a problem with a valve tied to Orion's hatch pressurization system during the preparations for a December 20th countdown demonstration test. That valve was successfully replaced and tested on January 5th. In addition, teams worked to fix leaks in ground support equipment needed to supply Orion with gaseous oxygen for breathing air.
Yeah, it doesn't give us too much confidence that they're finding these faults and correcting them. One or two, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
Once SLS and Orion arrive at the launch pad, NASA will begin an extensive series of pad operations. These include hooking up ground support equipment such as electrical connections, environmental control system ducts, and cryogenic propellant lines. I guess we're going to put them in cryogenic space while we send them to the moon, maybe? I don't know. For the first time, teams will power on the fully integrated systems at the pad to verify that the spacecraft, rocket, mobile launcher, and ground infrastructure all operate together as expected.
After these steps are complete, the Artemis II crew will visit the pad for a final walkdown. The astronauts include NASA's Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, along with CSA, which is from the Canadian Space Agency, astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Okay, so it's a collaboration. Nice.
Yeah. Toward the end of January, NASA plans to carry out a wet dress rehearsal. This major pre-launch test involves fully fueling the rocket, running through a launch countdown, and practicing propellant removal procedures without astronauts on board. During the test, teams will load more than 700,000 gallons of cryogenic propellants into the rocket.
The rehearsal will also allow the closeout crew to practice securing astronauts inside Orion and closing the spacecraft's hatches. These steps will be rehearsed without the crew present to ensure procedures can be carried out safely and smoothly.
The wet dress rehearsal includes multiple countdown practice runs designed to test how well the launch team can pause, resume, and recycle the countdown during the final 10 minutes before liftoff, known as terminal count. Check it out. All this is deliberate and planned rehearsed so that there's no gaffes, no mistakes on the day to launch a rocket. This is serious business.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all know that. I mean, I think they do this every time that they go through some kind of a launch, and we know that there have been mishaps, some of them pretty tragic in the past, but it just happens. It's a risk, and I think that's what's cool about these guys that take this on, is because they all know that there's a possibility that there could be a problem. But yeah, it's amazing that the amount of time that they put into the tests and retests and training and retraining, and it's very cool. The first run begins about 49 hours before launch, continues to 1 minute 30 seconds before liftoff, and includes a planned 3-minute hold before resuming the countdown to 33 seconds.
So they're in the 49-hour countdown, or no, they've launched it. They've already launched or done the launch because it's Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, the rocket's automatic launch sequencer takes control of the final countdown steps. Teams will then recycle the clock back to T minus 10 minutes, pause again, and resume to 30 seconds before launch as part of the second run. So, very cool.
NASA has updated its countdown procedures using lessons learned from Artemis I, but teams are prepared to pause testing if any issues arise. Engineers will closely monitor the loading of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen following challenges with hydrogen fueling during earlier Artemis I rehearsals.
Teams will also evaluate new procedures designed to limit the buildup of gaseous nitrogen between Orion's crew module and launch abort systems hatches, which could otherwise create hazards for the closeout crew.
If necessary, NASA may conduct additional wet dress rehearsals to fully verify the vehicle. The agency could also decide to move SLS and Orion back to the vehicle assembly building for further work after the rehearsal.
After a successful wet dress rehearsal, NASA will hold a flight readiness review. During this review, mission managers will evaluate the readiness of the rocket, spacecraft, ground systems, and launch, flight, and recovery teams before approving a launch date.
This is really, like I said, deliberate. And, the crew isn't even a part of this. All the prep that goes into this to get ready, and then the crew steps on. Hours later, boom, they're going up. It's pretty awesome.
Well, and I think it's because, for the most part, until they get up there and get the go-ahead to start doing whatever they do, they're at the mercy of
the system.
Kennedy space control. I mean, they're just riding, just taking a ride.
Yep.
So.
Although the Artemis II launch window could open as early as Friday, February 6th, NASA will select the date only after reviewing results from the wet dress rehearsal and assessing overall mission readiness.
Engineers determine possible launch dates by analyzing constraints needed to meet mission goals and protect the crew aboard Orion. These constraints define specific launch periods, lasting days or weeks when the mission can be safely flown.
Launch timing is influenced by complex orbital mechanics. Engineers must account for Earth's rotation, the moon's orbit, and the precise trajectory required to reach the moon. As a result, launch opportunities typically occur during a 1-week window, followed by about 3 weeks with no viable options.
The Artemis II test flight has unique requirements that differ from later lunar landing missions. These include placing Orion into a high Earth orbit so the crew and ground teams can evaluate life support systems before heading toward the moon.
The timing must also align Orion correctly with both Earth and the moon for the translunar injection burn. This maneuver sends Orion on a lunar flyby and places it on a free return trajectory, allowing the moon's gravity to guide the spacecraft back to Earth without major additional propulsion.
Engineers also rule out dates that would expose Orion to darkness for more than 90 days or 90 minutes at a time, ensuring the solar arrays can generate power and maintain safe temperatures. Finally, the launch must support the planned entry conditions for Orion's return to Earth. Yeah, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's fascinating how they broke it down. Very fascinating.
Yep.
I'll be looking forward to this.
We look forward to this outcome. So. Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see you this afternoon. Thanks.